Hey,
we're in the winning business. If you ain't winning, you ain't got no damn business up here. Woo! One love, baby. Yeah!
Basically, on YouTube, I don't think that there's enough of people out there or guys out there that are really, spreading the word for the New York Giants, if you will, or saying what the New York Giants doing good or what they're doing bad, or even eating crow, if you will, for the New York Giants when they play bad. Because I'm sure some of you NFC East haters out there and the rest of the NFL haters out there are.
You can't love them without loving Pizzle! You belong to me, Mark! You belong to me!
What's going on, y'all? It's Scott Pizzle. I fucked up. I didn't mean to cut my video off short like that. But anyways, finally getting around to doing the All-22 from the Seahawks game. Didn't do it last week. Took a break. And finally getting around to doing it. I do know about Xavier McKinney today. ATV accident in Cabo. Fuck. So if you watch the All-22 streams that we do here, you'll see that this injury is a big deal for the Giants. Huge deal, because Xavier McKinney is a huge part of the Giants defense, and he's a big safety net for the Giants in a lot of ways. And so really it sucks that he got hurt, and there's really nobody that we can really replace him with. This idea that Landon Collins will fix that is absurd. But what's going on, guys? Appreciate you guys joining me. We'll just kind of get this out there. I know it's kind of a weird time, early afternoon, but some people can watch it on a replay and things like that. But appreciate you guys joining me live. Always enjoy doing these and checking out the games and going back over and watching it. The biggest thing from this game that I noticed, or I felt like when I was watching this game that I didn't mention in my post-game video, was the fact that I felt like the Giants kind of just came off as a tired team. I think they lacked a little bit of energy. Doesn't mean that they didn't play hard. It's just, you can tell there's been some wear and tear from this season. A lot of emotional games, some emotional wins, a lot of travel. They've had a lot of travel from, going all the way out to London and down to Jacksonville and now across the country for them in Seattle. And so a lot of wear and tear on them, and the break in which they got did them, I think, was going to do them some good. It's unfortunate that during that bye, one of the best players on the team, if not a top 5 player on the team, got hurt. So that's really unfortunate. It's really sad. Hopefully he'll be back, within a month. Big Leonard Williams getting after Gino there. Hopefully he'll be back within a month, and that would be ideal. Really, the biggest thing is, in terms of Evan Neal, in terms of Bellinger, in terms of Xavier McKinney, all those guys, I really want them back for the Cowboy game. I mean, that to me is a game that's so important for the Giants. And so it's a game that I really would like to see the Giants be healthy. I'd love this play from Fabian Monroe right here. He's a guy that's really stepped up this year, and I'm telling you, man, like I'm starting to get to the point where I don't know if that position has to be replaced in the offseason that some people are mentioning. I mean, he's played so well that I don't know how you I don't know. I mean, even here, this is good coverage on DK. He's all over him. DK is obviously one of the best receivers in the league. I don't really know where his numbers stack up this year, but he's a really good, talented receiver. And for Fabian to make that play, that's a really, really nice play. What's up? What's up, guys? Appreciate you guys joining me. I just, it losing Xavier McKinney for a few weeks, it really makes those games like against the Texans and the Lions, for example, it kind of evens those games up. Those are games are winnable games, and especially like the Lions game because the Lions are so good off. They're really good offensively, even after they got done trading their tight end. You really need to have your defense on point. Maybe not so much against Houston, but um, Detroit's a different animal. And you could tell watching them play against the Packers this week. They're trying to get better defensively, and really nice throw to my boy Darius Slayton here. If you watch the Giants Outsiders podcast last Wednesday, you know that Fisk had a lot of doom and gloom in his voice. And I believe in the Giants receivers. I believe in this offense. I don't hold this game right here. I don't hold a ton of weight on it as far as the offense goes. Again, I think that this is a team that was tired, a little out of sync without out their tight end, without Evan Neal. And the offensive performance in this game was not ideal, but you can only have so many guys get hurt as the year goes on. I mean, it's just part of the game. Not really making excuses. It just is what it is. I mean, it's the reality of football. I mean, it's just part of the game. But the the biggest thing for me going forward for the Giants is really needing to stay healthy. Because I mean, we've seen that. Look, I've been telling people that Titans game, I feel like the Titans game might be our best win all year. And I think watching them play the Chiefs last night, Titans are a good team. Like they're not a bad team. They're clearly a playoff team, probably going to win the AFC South. Really nice play by Julian Love. This is why Julian Love is getting contract extension talks right now, because of plays like this. I mean, that's just dude's really stepped up and been a stud this year. It's crazy because there was a time when there was a lot of people talking about how Julian Love wasn't any good. They were starting to give up on him, and it's starting to look like he's a key centerpiece for the Giants defense. This is a fun play right here by the Seahawks. Get everybody going one way, bring it back the other way. Yep. See, Kayvon got a little tricked out there. Xavier's a little late. As far as OBJ goes, man, I'm just not going to be. I got to be honest with you, Omega. I know there's a lot of content creators, not only just for Giant fans, but Cowboy fans that are, simping. They're acting like cucks, as far as OBJ goes. I'm not going to beg OBJ to come back be a Giant. He rubbed me the wrong way with how things went in his time here at the end of it. And the biggest thing is if he signs with the Giants and he comes in and contributes, I'll be all for it. But I'm not going to play that. I'm not going to play that flirtatious game, with him. I'm just not. It's clear as day that he's a kind of guy. I'm not saying he's not talented, but I think he's the kind of guy that probably likes to be flirted with like this, And so it's no surprise to me. And I'm just not going to get my hopes up because I don't see it happening for the Giants. And so I'm not going to get my hopes up. But if it happens and he shows up, cool. It's so funny because I hear content creators say, well, if he does this, great play by Dory Jackson there. If he does this, then great, then I'll be happy. Bad Dog and Entertainer were very much like that in terms of Daniel Jones of like, oh well, if Daniel Jones does this, then great, I'll be wrong, and then I'll be able, then I'll whatever. Like they kept saying that, and I'm like, well, he's me watching them. I'm like, well, he's one of the best players on the team, so I don't know what the hell. I don't know what you're waiting for as far as you need confirmation, but whatever. Like he's on the team. But then with OBJ, it's not that same narrative isn't said where it's like, it's like you got fans begging OBJ to come back, and it's like, man, stop, man. Like, like, like it's a domestic abusive relationship. I'm telling you, it's the same damn thing. If he comes back and he contributes, great. Does the Giants need a receiver? Yeah, sure, man. We need a receiver. But again, I don't think that's going to change. Let me tell you what we need. We need Kenny Golladay to actually do something. We need Kenny Golladay to do something. What's up, Evan? That's what we need. Forget about OBJ for a second. We need Kenny Golladay to actually have some relevancy to this damn team and organization. Really nice job here from Daniel getting away from the defender. That's a nice move. That's honestly what we need. Everybody's like, well, we need OBJ and we need this. Like, it's pretty obvious to me that the Giants are going to overhaul this receiving core in the offseason, which will be honestly fun because it's always fun when your team can get some new receivers, whether it be free agent or in the draft. Maybe some interior line guys, to beef that up a little bit. But as far as in season, this is wild. Like I didn't lose my mind when we didn't trade for a receiver because, if you don't like the guy, you're not going to give up stuff just to force something. That's just not, in 6 months from time, the Giants are obviously overachieving this year. And I'm going to tell you what I think about the Giants really as far as this season and a good comparison for anybody that's a baseball fan. This year's Giants, the 2022 Giants remind me of the 2015 Chicago Cubs, where they were a team that was not expected to make the playoffs. They had a lot of young guys on the team, and obviously they somehow made the playoffs. They overachieved. They went into the first, I believe it was the wild card round, and they got swept by I think it was the Mets. They got swept by the Mets. And the thing that was interesting about that was the team was able to get some playoff experience, and then in the following year, the 2016 year, they were to add a couple pieces, and then come back and win the World Series. Now I say all that because this Giants team reminds me of that same situation where I can see this Giants team making the playoffs. Maybe they don't do very well in the playoffs. Maybe they win a game. Maybe they don't win a game. But just getting to the playoffs and getting some experience for these guys like Daniel Jones, Dexter Lawrence, Xavier McKinney, some of these guys who've never played a playoff game, getting them Andrew Thomas, Evan Neal, getting these guys some experience. So when they come back the following year, that's when they can actually make their push. And so I know what the Bengals did was special, was amazing, but that was a freak thing. And so this idea that the Giants should just duplicate that is just nonsense. I mean, you when you watch this game live, you could tell that it would be nice if the Giants just had a Lockett or a Metcalf, right? Because you're sitting here, you're seeing a guy like Geno Smith. He's got time to throw. He can move around the pocket too. But he's also got two really nice receivers, two really good receivers. And so a Lockett or a Metcalf would probably be a number one on the Giants roster right now. You know what I'm saying? So they had two receivers that would probably would be our number one. And so the point is you can't get a guy like Lockett and Metcalf just through trading. You got to pick him up in the draft. You got to get him a guy in a great situation, a free agency signing, right? And we thought we did that with Kenny Golladay, but that was clearly not a thing. Really nice tackle from Tay Crowder. Tay Crowder doesn't get enough. I know he didn't have a huge game in here, and I know that Landon Collins has taken some of his snaps. but and Micah McFadden did as well. But Tay has made some really nice plays for the Giants this year. And you can see this particular set here that they had Landon Collins there in the box playing a nickel linebacker role. I mean, when you watch this first quarter, you can tell this Giants defense is talented, is a good, because again, the Seahawks offense is not bad. Geno Smith has done some great things this year. They got some couple good receivers. They have a very inexperienced offensive line, but a very good offensive line that's been playing much better than in previous years for the Seahawks. And so you could kind of tell that they had, they were slowly but surely getting the field position, and we needed our offense to gain some field position back. And it was just a little bit easier for their offense. Saquon didn't have one of his best games. He had rough sledding. I just think that the run blocking for our offensive line just didn't do a very good job this game. They could have been better. Obviously, without Evan Neal, that kind of stunk. This is a play here. I remember this one, and you just could tell that Daniel just lacks a little bit of chemistry with these receivers. He's got a nice pocket to throw, just kind of overthrows him. But I mean, if you don't throw that guy a lot, you're not having a lot of reps with him. There's going to be some timing's going to be off on that. Absolutely. I mean, that's and I say Evan Neal, but also Bellinger's a part of that as well. He's definitely a part of that. It's really unfortunate for Daniel to be kind of in this situation, and honestly, his whole college career and his whole pro career, it's just, I think he's a really good quarterback, but the unfortunate thing is he's never really had talented receivers around him. And I really feel like in the NFL right now, the whole league, quarterback play is down, in my opinion. Like, there's just really not a lot of there's a lot of good quarterbacks. I don't know how many special quarterbacks there really are out there. I really and then you've obviously got the old guard where you got the Bradys and the Rodgers. And those guys are really good, but they're obviously getting up there in age, and so they're starting to become a little limited in what they can and can't do. And then it's always interesting when a guy like Geno Smith is able to revive his career in the right situation. We kind of saw that with a Drew Brees, for example, where he wasn't the best with the Chargers, and then he finds himself in New Orleans, and he's a really good quarterback. And that happens all the time. And Geno wasn't. Geno's a great example of what could happen to Daniel Jones if you're not careful, because he didn't look great with the Jets. He wasn't all that great. Obviously, we saw him a little bit with the Giants. But I mean, he's found a nice little place here in Seattle. He's found a comfort zone, and he's winning games. He's on a team that looks like they're playoff bound as well. And you have to wonder if you then you look at Daniel Jones and you think, well, I mean, is that a similar situation? Really nice play here from Michael Beck. I think this is Micah McFadden's first sack in his career. I'm not for sure about that, but this is a nice play. I'm happy that he's getting playing time this year, because I think he could be a really nice player. Obviously, Smith is there. Like Jalen Smith, he's obviously not a long-term solution for the Giants, but Micah McFadden can be a long-term solution. They killed us with in this game. The Giants got killed with plays like this all day long. You'll see it just, Dexter trying to get there. Metcalf, this huge body, right? I mean, he's able to just kind of get in the post, almost like a basketball player, just kind of get in the post and just make those plays, positioning his body. And this whole throw here is disrupted by Leonard Williams on this play right here. You'll see him make this move, come after him. And here's the thing too. Aziz, Kayvon, Leonard Williams, Dexter, they haven't really been on the field at all together. So it's like the Giants defense actually has the chance. And of course I say this and Xavier McKinney gets hurt, has the chance to be even better. We really have that ability. We have that chance. If we could just get healthy, and that's the biggest thing for the rest of the season for the 2022 Giants. How healthy are they going to be? Because if they're healthy, if they're really, really healthy, man, they're going to be a tough out. They really are. Fox is another guy who I've been really impressed with this season, and somebody who I could see, if the Giants stick with him in the next couple of years, could be a starter on this team. I really believe this. Fox is a gritty player, and you can see he's kind of learning on the job. And this is the start of the second quarter. Yeah, I mean, the Giants just playing off right here, and they just they hit him. Hey, what's up, Terrence? Good to see you, buddy. Yeah, I don't know about you guys. I missed Giants football this weekend. Really nice play from Adoree. I don't know how many times I got to eat crow on Adoree Jackson, but I'll once again eat crow on Adoree Jackson. I don't know about you guys. I have a love-hate relationship when Giants are off, when they have a bye week. There's a part of me that's bummed out that I don't get to watch them, and then there's another part of me that's relieved and relaxed. And it's weird because really nice tackle right there. This one thing the Giants, I've talked about it every week. Darnay Holmes has had a rough 2022 campaign, but plays like this they go unnoticed so many times because that could be a touchdown right there. That's easily a touchdown. The way Julian Love was about to get blocked, and Darnay's able to save a touchdown in that moment right there. But the Giants are having a good season, and they needed a break. They needed a bye, but they've been doing so well, and I've been having so much fun watching them that I didn't want them to take a bye. In previous seasons, the bye comes up, and I'm like, yeah, let's take a bye, man. I don't need to watch them this week. But I'm excited to see him get back on the field this upcoming week. I think handicapping that game, and of course, it's only Monday. We got 6 days to go before we play the Texans. I really feel like there's going to be a lot of points in that game. Like, I think there's going to now without Xavier McKinney, who's kind of the quarterback of this defense. I think the Giants are going to give up some points. I really do believe that. But I think that we're going to be able to score some points too, because the way our offense has ran this year, the Giants are going to get creative in the after the bye and install some new stuff, and the offense is gonna be improved, man. It is. I just know it will. I know the time off is gonna do them some good. And not to mention that, but just Daniel Jones being able to get some more chemistry with the guys who were on the field. Darius Slayton, he wasn't getting a lot of love in training camp. And so they got to rebuild that. They got to rebuild that. He's got to rebuild not having Daniel Bellinger. He's got to have that. Got to get some chemistry with Kenny Golladay at some point. Wan'Dale Robinson, right? Nice play by Mike McFadden there, getting that tackle. Yeah, I definitely think we're going to need to score some points against the Texans, because I think I really do believe we're going to struggle a little bit defensively without Xavier McKinney. Like, it's a big loss for us. It's a big loss to lose him, and hopefully he can come back in some time in a timely fashion. Nice play there by the Giants. Let's see who's. I know Leonard Williams is on this. Fox as well. I believe it was Fox. Yep, Fox sheds his block, man. Gets right in there. McLeod's in there. Smith. Really like Fox, man. Really see a future for Fox here in the next few years. And he's just wide open. don't know if that was Julian Love. Let me see here. This was a play that I was interested in going back and watching. Man, I don't know. Maybe McFadden. That's a rough defensive play there. Yeah, I mean, again, no matter what the next couple weeks, we got to have our dogs for Thanksgiving. That's and it's not even, we don't even get 3 full weeks on that if you think about it, because obviously Thanksgiving is on it's going to be on a Thursday, so that's going to be a short week. So really, these next 2 weeks, man, the Giants have got to play these games, win these games that these teams are not better than us. We need to win those games, pile up the wins, and then we need to try to stay healthy as possible too. That's the biggest thing. What? Oh, yeah. Oh, I think when Xavier McKinney does get back, here's a nice run for Saquon. I think when Xavier McKinney does get back on the field, he'll definitely be wearing some type of a club. I think he'll get back on the field because he just seems like that type of player. Nice blocking from Andrew Thomas there. That might have been Saquon's best run of the day. But the problem is with him having a club is he pretty much deems him useless on being able to get an interception, right? I mean, so he's really just out there to tackle, which, again, he's a great tackler. Let me watch this run blocking here. And that was really nice. Really nice there from Tanner Hudson. That was nice. Azudu as well. That was nice from Azudu. But, yeah, he's not going to have it. But he's a very good tackler. But you can tell this Giants defense predicates a lot of their success on good tackling. When you watch college football or pro football, I'm telling you, people complicate the game of football, but it really comes down to who just tackles better. Who's a team that tackles well? You watch college football, that's some of the reasons why there's a lot of teams that are bad, because it's just really piss poor tackling. Here's some of that wildcat we've been seeing. I'm expecting to see more of this coming out of the bye week. Some creativity from this wildcat. I'm expecting to see more of this, especially when the weather gets worse as we go on deeper when we get into the wintertime. I'm expecting that to be a staple of the Giants offense. I don't think that's something that's just going to go away. And honestly, I kind of like the wildcat just because it takes a little bit of stress off of Daniel. My boy Darius Slayton right here. I can't get no love on Darius Slayton. I don't know any other content creator that was still talking about Darius Slayton outside of Pizzle, and I can't get nobody to show me no love. And that's okay. I've been known to pat myself on the back, and I'll just continue to do so on that, because Darius Slayton is a true New York Giants receiver, and he's somebody that should be part of this organization for years to come. Unfortunately, the Kid Blues of the world think that because I say that means he's a Pro Bowler, and it's just simply not true. That's not what I'm saying at all. You need guys who are just good, solid, reliable players, and that's what Darius Slayton is. And hopefully that those that follow my channel, hopefully that subscribe to me, they buy into Darius Slayton, because that's the reason why I make the content, is to give you guys a point of view that I think is correct. Just tell the Giants offense just couldn't really get anything going in this game offensively. Here's Daniel getting outside. That's the other thing about this season that's really important, and it goes in hand with what I was saying. We got to make sure Daniel can play the whole year. I mean, right? I mean, to me, that was the only question Daniel Jones had to answer. Can he play the whole year? That was the only question that he needed to answer. And so far, he's answering that question. So far, that has not been an issue. I know he got banged up before the Packer game, but he obviously played that game and he did fine. Saquon getting absolutely stonewalled here. But, we got to have our team. Our team does a lot of the things fundamentally well, like I was mentioning about tackling. Blocking has been something. I mean, even here, like the blocking set up there, Saquon's got to beat that man right there. We do a lot of things well, but at the same time, we have to have our guys stay healthy. We got to have our dogs. Jones has a pretty nice pocket there. He goes through his progressions. Of course, we can't get any help on the catch. I mean, these, this is what bothers me about stats when it comes to Daniel Jones' stats. It's like some people that look at him, it's crazy to me because that should be a catch right there. That should be a catch. I mean, it just should be. I mean, it wouldn't have been a first down, but still, it should be a catch. And I know because so many people are so critical of Daniel Jones's numbers, they don't want to use common sense. Really nice punt there. They don't want to use common sense when it comes to Daniel Jones. They just want to look at numbers and stats and things like that. And again, this Seahawks team is a good team. They're not a bad team. This narrative that I know they weren't getting a lot of love in the offseason before this season started because they moved on. But this Seahawks team, I'm telling you, I think that the NFC is wide open. Like the NFC is wide the hell open. And again, there's where the Giants, this is a nice play by Dory Jackson, sets this whole thing up. But it comes down to, it's not about the coverage skills, it's about the tackling. And this is what the Giants do so well right here. And obviously he's able to get the ball out, but it's all about that initial tackling. We talk about that every time we do these all-22 streams. This Giants defense just tackles well. And so when you think about Xavier McKinney playing with a club, that can he do the fundamentally things really well? Can he and that comes down to tackling. But my point I wanted to make about the Seahawks was the NFC is wide open. And so this narrative that the Giants had this bad loss in Seattle, I don't think is true because Seattle could absolutely be one of the sneaky teams that make it to the Super Bowl for the NFC. That's a real thing, man. Like I know it's crazy to think about that because they moved on from Russell Wilson and they've kind of retooled their team. Really nice move there. Good blocking from the Giants getting in the end zone. But this Seahawks team, like, there's always a team that gets hot, right? The Bengals were that team probably last year. They got hot at the right time. They weren't able to get the job done. But, this Seahawks team, man, is a team that if they get hot at the right time, they could absolutely make it to the Super Bowl. They really could. And so everyone's like, oh, we lost this game. We go in the bye week. We don't make a trade. We go in the bye week, and it's all doom and gloom from these Giant fans and Giant content creators. And I'm sitting there thinking, like, well, wait a minute. Like, I'm pissed off that we lost to the Cowboys, but this Seahawks team is not bad. Not to mention, it's a home game for them. You're watching this, and look, Gino probably played better than Daniel in this game. I think it's fair to say that. But if I'm making an excuse, I mean, Gino's also got Metcalf and Lockett, right? So, it's just one of them things. Like, I think that this is the only game for sure, and it's probably debatable, to be quite honest with you. 100% CV. I mean, what the Seahawks have done, they've worked free agency really well. They've drafted really well, and that trade was really nice for them. I mean, looking back on it. But I lost my train of thought. Again, Giants are always right there to make that quick tackle. Trying to get my train of thought here. Really nice pressure. This is a play. This is the kind of, I mean, look at the guys in the mix here. You've got Fox, you got Leonard Williams, you got Dexter, you got Ward. Then you got McLeod coming off. So Martindale draws up a blitz off the edge. I mean, you look at it's not even our top guys there. Leonard Williams obviously is, Dexter is, but now Kayvon's back in the game. So he wasn't even in that situation. Belton. That's what I wanted to say about Xavier McKinney. Belton is a guy that, number 24, for those that don't know, he's a guy that he's a rookie, but he's somebody who needs to step up with Xavier McKinney being out, right? Xavier McKinney, did Xavier McKinney go on IR? I didn't even see that. Of course, that's him getting the sack right here. Did he go on IR? It must have just happened if he did. I need somebody to confirm that for me that he went on IR. Of course, this is Richie James fucking up. And look, man, I'm pissed about Richie James. Richie James has been been good for us this year, to be honest with you. He's stepped up when others stepped down. But this was a terrible game for him. I mean, this was a terrible game. I mean, you can't win this game. This is something the Giants haven't been doing all year. I mean, that's just something the Giants haven't been doing is silly mistakes like that. So, of course, a good football team like the Seahawks are going to do that. Well, I mean, if he's not going to be there for the Cowboy game, that's definitely going to suck. And guys like Dane Belton's going to have to step up, man. Going to have to. And look, man, I'm not like if I was Xavier McKinney's age and I was making a bunch of money playing football, guess what? In the bye week, I would go to Cabo too. and have fun. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and tell the dude what I'm not going to be like, come on, dude. Like, does he have a responsibility? Absolutely. You know, is there, 1,000 fans, millions of fans watching him play do his profession? Absolutely. But at the same time, man, you only get one life, might as well have a good time. If you're a rich player, you're making good money, good looking guy, right? You got a great life. Your dreams have come true. You're playing in the National Football League, man, go out and have some fun in Cabo. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not going to be one of these guys to be like, fuck Xavier McKinney. I just can't. I don't live in that world. Because I know what that's where, like, a lot of my opinions about things, this goes back to about Dave Gettleman's moves and everything. Like, I always judged moves on what would I do? What would I personally do? And guess what? I don't know if I would have had an ATV accident, but I would be out having fun. I'd probably go to Cabo, hang out with some chicks, drive some ATVs around. So it's like, it's just bad luck. So I'm not going to sit here and tell somebody, act like I wouldn't be doing the same damn thing, because I probably would be. And I think anybody that says otherwise is full of shit, to be quite honest with you. That's just me keeping it real. I like Gary Brightwell. I just don't like him returning kicks. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he just doesn't seem like he's got enough explosiveness. Like, I think he's going to be a good running back for us, but I don't see it. I think it's a very conservative move, the reason why they've got him back there. I think it's all about ball security, all that stuff. Glad Daniel got down there. I mean, look, I'm not gonna. Here's the thing about it. If he's riding an ATV and he's bullshitting with it, doing wheelies and backflips and whatever, all this and that. Like, okay, I get what you're saying, but like, we don't know how he was driving the ATV. He could have. I mean, I've been on ATVs before where I've been going real fast and I go around a corner and I flip them sideways. It happens. Like, you don't mean to do it. It just bites you, which is something easily he could have done, where you're flying down a hill or something. You cut a corner real fast. You've done it 4 or 5 times and nothing happened. Then all of a sudden, all your weight tilts you over. And if you're not experienced with doing ATVs a lot, then you can easily flip one by accident. So I'm not going to sit here and say, like, he shouldn't be on an ATV because he plays football. You know what I mean? Like, it could have easily been an accident. Offense just so damn out of sync in this game. You could just see it there. That's a very great point. I will say that I think the Giants offense, it's so funny because the Giants offense in the first half of games compared to the second half is so different. The first half is very conservative. It's very safe. It's very we don't want to make any mistakes early. Where in the second half they take chances. They do a lot of, they do things. Um, um, they do things where you don't see it coming. So here, this is the end of the first half of this game, and so even at this point, this was a winnable game for the Giants. Hey, the BKNYC 85. That was a tough. I'm not gonna lie. The podcast I did with Fist last Wednesday night was very tough. That was tough because I just don't see I don't see eye to eye on Fisk on those things. And to me, I think Fisk was wrong. I don't think he was right. To me, he was coming off a little geekish, and we're still going to talk more about that probably in the next podcast that we do this week. But I just didn't agree with it, and he honestly made me brain dead for a minute. Not to take light of brain dead people, but I mean, I felt brain dead because I'm not on that same, and I wouldn't. And here's what's great about our podcast is like we don't do a lot of prep work, and so he makes the titles to the videos, and so I obviously nice run by Saquon here. He made the title, and I already knew from the get go like, oh, it's going to be a rough night. And then as we get into the conversation, it just wasn't. It wasn't a very good conversation. But I've had some people reach out to me. Really nice play. My boy Darius Slayton's got to help on the blocking there. He just got lost. But to finish what I was saying, I had some people actually reach out and tell me that they really liked that episode. I don't know how, but some people said that it was a good episode and they really liked it. And so it's weird. I get a lot of people that reach out and say, I don't like you doing it with him. And then I get some people reach out and say, oh, it was a great episode. And the biggest thing, anytime I get audience reaction on anything, to me is good, whether it's good or bad. So I like that. I like to get some reaction out of things that I do. And means you're engaged, and so that's what it's all about. 11-6 would be a nice record, and I'm going to tell you right now, I'm the most optimistic Giants fan that you'll ever find. And if the Giants go 11-6, which means if they lose, still they're going to lose, so that means they're still going to lose 4 more games. Really nice play there by the Seahawks. Actually, there was a flag on the play. If the Giants go 11-6, man, I'll be thrilled. I would be thrilled. Be crazy. And again, if they go to the playoffs and lose the first game, I'm this a great. I mean, watch this run from Saquon right here. Watch this. This is the reason why you keep Saquon, because he can do shit like this. Watch this right here. Well, I mean, crazy. Crazy what that man can do. But to me, man, I'm sorry. I'm looking at I want the Giants to achieve something this year, but I'm really honestly looking towards next year in a lot of ways. And in my opinion, I think that if they make the playoffs, they play a playoff game, win or lose, they can build off of that. That's the big, and that doesn't mean I'm giving up on this year, because to me, if they make the playoffs and they win a playoff game, that's a cherry on top, and you just keep adding sprinkles and flavors to it as they go on. This offense, even when getting these flags and dead balls, like, you just never got they just never got things going right. Delay a game right there, just never got anything going offensively in this game. Just never got anything going. I mean, look, it's like this one's kind of on Daniel, where he's looking, he sees something he likes, but then it's too late. So that's a little bit on Daniel there. Not, just not reading it fast enough. He was trying to process it, but he couldn't get it figured out. But yeah, I mean, the biggest thing for me is this Giants team. I just don't think people realize, like, we just went through 5 years of terrible bullshit. We just went through 5 years of being in the swampy mud. Nice pocket, nice throw, nice catch right here. This is and look who's on the receiving end of this. Look at this pocket, look at this throw, look at this catch. Look at that. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Giants football. Giants football right there. Like, if I'm the only one that's going to be on the Darius Slayton train, I'll be the only one. But I'm telling you, you can win. You can play winning football with Darius Slayton as a receiver out there. That doesn't mean he has to be a number 1 or even a number 2, but he's you can win with Darius Slayton. I know you can. Damn, Aziz got lifted off the ground there. You see, even on that route right there, they're really. Watch this right here. Let's see if there's a little stall out right here. Of course, Darius Slayton again. I love when he does the finger point for a first down. What? And see, Daniel might have been a little behind on that throw. Like, if you could see, if Daniel goes to Darius's left a little bit or to his right a little more, that play has a little bit more potential. So maybe the little chemistry is just a little bit off right there. Here's another nice pocket for Jones. He's just going to dump this thing off to Saquon. These are always Saquon's best plays right here when he can get in space. You know, that's always the best ones. Look at this protection though, man. Really nice. Somebody's saying he had the deep. Let me go back here. Hang on. You got me interested. No. I need to go back. Sorry. Let me go back. Let me keep going back here. Oh, yeah, I see what you're saying. Well, let's go back. Well, let's go back one more time. Let's go back one more time. Yeah. Okay. That's fair. That's fair. I mean, that's fair. That's fair. So he had Wandale running the end zone. That's fair. And I don't know. I mean, looking at it here, let's see if he had somebody in his face to the right of him. Yeah, I mean, he had that D. I think that D tackle just kind of disrupted his viewpoint, and which made him look left. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it may be a tough throw with the D tack running in his face. For sure, touchdown. Yeah, absolutely. I can get behind that. You're right. Good catch. That was a good catch. I think the problem was the D-tack kind of got in his face and disrupted that whole timing and look on that. But you're absolutely right. He had one down. Look, that's we need that's the thing about this offense. We need guys like Wandale and Darius to take the top off the defense. We need to spread them out a little more. That's what the big need is for the Giants. And honestly, let's hope that in the during the bye week they were able to watch this tape and see that, and they can go back to it, and Daniel can look for it. I think there's some, not to make an excuse for Daniel, but if you look at the receivers he has right now, Daniel doesn't like making mistakes. He doesn't. He doesn't like making those kind of mistakes. And so the biggest thing is there has to be some trust that has to build up as well. There has to be some trust built up. And that's something that the Giants offense desperately needs. Yeah, absolutely. I think there's a lack of trust with them. And look, that's something that happens in quarterbacks. If you're watching the Bucks and Rams last night, Mike Evans isn't having a good game for the Bucks, and all of a sudden Brady says, "Screw it, I'm going to Scotty Miller," and he does. He starts hitting Scotty Miller because he has a little bit more trust. And then as soon as he starts fucking up, he goes to his rookie tight end. I mean, it's just something that quarterbacks you got to think when you're under scrutiny all the time playing in that. Of course, the Giants get a field goal there. You're gonna go to guys, and then you're gonna maybe sometimes say, you know what, screw it, I'm not looking towards him because he hasn't helped me all game. So it's something that it happens. Yeah, and again, the point is that yes, Wandale is open, but when if you're looking from his perspective and you see a guy rushing in your face, especially to your right, you have to move left, and all of your vision then goes to the left as well because your right side's completely covered up or filled up. And then you got to think Wandale's not a big guy, right? He's not 6'5". He's not a huge. He's a smaller receiver, so he might be lost as well, as far as a visual standpoint. And it's absolutely a miss, but it's something that, hey, they can work on and build from that. Really nice tackle there. You can tell Daniel just doesn't, him and these receivers right now. There's something off chemistry wise. This is a play this is a type of play right here. Watch our linebacking play right here. If they get this camera work right from Smith and then McFadden here, and see Smith goes a little too far to the right, opens up the middle, and he gives that positioning for that blocker to push him that way. And our linebacking play is something that's got to get it's not going to get really necessarily fixed in this off season. We need to get a guy like Beavers back, and we need to improve that position. Everyone keeps talking about the cornerback position, and to me, it's all about linebacking play that needs to improve on this defense. Watch this right here on this little crosser right here. Or see McFadden there. See McFadden's there late getting to the running back. He doesn't have enough speed to catch up with him either, and that's a huge play because of that. So to me, the linebacking play for this defense, from watching these all-22s, yeah, they have some good moments at times. Tay Crowder has some good moments, and it's one of the reasons why I think Landon Collins was even brought in, was the fact of trying to get the linebackers to have a little bit more speed. Our linebackers just seem to lack that. Nice play from Julian Love. And see, again, it's not a clean tackle, but as soon as they engage on their man, they don't let go. They really don't. You don't see a lot of broken tackles from this Giants defense. Nice play from Fox there. Man, he got a lot. He's getting more and more reps each and every week. Able to get off his man. He kind of got pushed around there at the start. Oh man. Lockett never has these kind of drops either. So the Giants got extremely lucky right here. I think this is a play too where Dory Jackson got put in an absolute blender. Yeah, it was. I think that was where Dory just got absolutely twisted like a pretzel, and they made a really nice move on him. Yeah, I think indecisive is a good word. I think that's definitely a good word to use. I think the Giants linebackers do play a little indecisive. These kickers make field goals so damn easy. But yeah, I think that the Giants. But see, in saying that, you get a guy like McFadden, for example, who's just a rookie, probably wasn't supposed to play this year. When you think about when they added the roster, at the time, Blake Martinez was still out there. Beavers was probably going to play over him. McFadden was supposed to probably learn a little more, and he's been called into action this year. And then Tay Crowder, you know, he's been boom or bust, but you can tell when he is bust, it's an indecisive decision making process. Um, they brought Smith back, but obviously he wasn't even part of training camp. I mean, look, Shelton, I mean, as far as the guy, I don't know. I'm just not gonna. I'm not really into the whole. If the OBJ thing happens, it happens. If it don't, it don't. And if he goes to the Cowboys, it would just be more of that abusive relationship that I've always said about OBJ. And for those, maybe you're just now hearing me on that for the first time. I've always felt like the relationship with OBJ and the Giants has been like an abusive relationship. You know, look at my boy. Look at my damn boy right here. Look at this dude. Yeah, and by the way, and yeah, I said boy, and I'm sure Mark Holmes thinks that that's me being racist because I said Darius Slayton is my boy, but that's not a racist thing for somebody to call somebody their boy. But anyways, really nice play there. Just love. I mean, I'm such a fan of Darius Slayton, man. Such a fan. But anyways, I've always felt that OBJ because we loved him, we cared for him, we said so many things, and then he kind of started hitting. He kind of started hitting on us. Being kind of being abusive to us, doing things that some of us didn't like, throwing Eli Manning on the bus, yada yada yada. And then he left, and he's always messed with us, flirted with us. Giant fans wanted to bring him back, but just kind of this idea, just playing with us. And if he goes to the Cowboys, it'd be so typical. It would be so typical because it'd be like, oh, we were finally thinking about bringing you back, and you decided to be with my best friend. It's like, okay, dude, like that's what that would be like to me. So but again, I've never wished anything bad on him. It's like when he tore his ACL in the Super Bowl, I wasn't sitting here cheering that he got hurt. I've just my whole stance on OBJ is I've moved on from that, and I haven't let it affect me. You want to talk about next man up without Daniel Bellinger right here. You get this play right here from your backup tight end, makes this play, breaks a tackle, moves the chains. That's next man up right there. But I've just never let OBJ affect me. Just never have. And so if and I see content creators talk about OBJ a lot, and I'm like, okay, I'm just not going to allow my hopes to get up. Really nice. I love this run blocking concept right here. Watch Feliciano. Watch all these guys. Just watch this right here. Get outside, break that tackle, and now it's just unfair. They got those matchups with the DBs, and it's just so unfair. That play was just terrible. That play had no hope. I don't know. This was the weirdest play of the whole day for the Giants. I remember watching this live. Obviously, I streamed this game, but he just drilled Daniel right into him. Just not a great play. What's up, Big Blue in the Bronx? You could see what he was looking for there once he got outside, that he just didn't put the best. And again, I think that he didn't trust this throw. He just didn't trust it enough. He was kind of scared to make that throw, I feel like. This is a nice play call by the Giants. I like those little halfback screens, timely plays. And I've really liked Matt Breida this year for the Giants. I think he's been a solid player for us. When he comes in, he just does his job, doesn't make a lot of mistakes. Giants have to settle for the field goal. Of course, Gano has been solid ever since he's been a Giant. I think this was a really good drive. I think this is the one coming up that there was a nice drive for Seattle that because we kind of got a little bit of mojo back, and then I think they just kind of snuffed it away, if I remember correctly. Because I remember at some point deep in this second half, we just could not stop them anymore. Offensively, they just found their what they were trying to do, and we had no hope at that point. See, Fabian just gives too much space there to DK. Does what he wants. Yeah, he's flexing on him too. Watch him flex on him. I mean, honestly, if I was DK Metcalf, this is what I would do every time I catch the ball is flex. I mean, watch this. Boom. And gets up, just starts flexing. I mean, yeah. I mean, probably do the same thing. I try to look sexy as fuck. Trying. Yeah, I just got the news, Evan. I mean, I knew about. I guess they put him on IR this early this afternoon, which will obviously mess him up for the Cowboy game. So that sucks because we need him for the Cowboy game. I mean, we really do. See, and then there's Tay. See, Tay Crowder does stuff like that makes my head spin. It's like, dude, you knock out guys like Derrick Henry, but then in open field like that, you can't do anything. I just don't understand that about him. Inside tackles, he's great. When you get outside the tackles, Tay Crowder can't do shit. Absolutely, Lake. I mean, it's fun. The division's fun this year, man. That's one of my biggest beefs with Mark Holmes. Is like, damn, we could be having some fun right now. Instead, you want to be a little bitch. I mean, straight up. No, this is the play where Dory gets put in a damn blender. This is the play that, see, I got to go back on this. I got to go back. I'm sorry. I apologize. I got to go back. See, this is the play that I was terrified when it came to Dory Jackson being on the Giants. Watch him right here. And watch this. Just watch the Dory up there. I mean, just gets killed right there. That was what I was expecting Dory Jackson to be for the Giants. Always jumping routes, always doing that. And instead, he's been great. But that play right there is a great example of why I was nervous about bringing a Dory Jackson in right there. You know, I mean, that's the example right there. And it's funny because dumbass Mike Too Nice was talking shit to me the week of, talking about, oh, you don't eat crow when it comes to Dory Jackson. You don't eat crow. And then he gets twisted up like a fucking pretzel there. So, I don't know, man. Oh, no, like, you missed that conversation. I think that this Seahawks team, honestly, because the NFC is, to me, wide open, I think this Seahawks team is a sneaky Super Bowl candidate as far as the NFC. That doesn't mean I think they can win the Super Bowl. It just means, you know, this is the type of team that I think if they got hot late, I think they're for sure a playoff team when you look at the NFC landscape. But if they get hot at the right time, I think this team could absolutely go to the Super Bowl. And it would be a crazy ass story too, considering that they moved on from Russell Wilson. You know, Pete Carroll's obviously a great coach. Nice play by Danny there. Tries to get Seals, but can't make that connection. But no, I think when we look back on this is not going to be a bad loss for the Giants. Really, it's not. To me, the Cowboy game sucks. I mean, that I won't lie about that. That loss sucks. You know, I mean, because if we can't beat you with Cooper Rush, which I don't think he's a terrible quarterback, we're going to definitely have a hard time beating you with Dak. And just straight up. I mean, I think as far as the throw being late there, Tommy, I don't think he was looking for Seals, to be quite honest with you. I think he was looking for something else. See, that time, I mean, that particular play, he just completely bailed on it and said, fuck it, I'm running. Look, I mean, it's Omega, like, you might be right. I mean, the Bucs, they desperately need to continue to win. And the Seahawks have been running hot lately, you know, coming off of this win, then coming off a division win against the Cardinals. They've been running hot. And so, I mean, we'll see. We'll see, absolutely. Giants offense, just this whole game, as we've been watching here, they just didn't really get they just never had any chemistry going on. Just never did. Just, and I honestly think Daniel didn't have a very good game in this game. I think this was probably the worst game Daniel played all year long, to be quite honest with you. Just because I'm not going to look at the numbers. I'm not even saying statistically. I'm just talking about just wasn't a good game. But I think there's some built-in excuses there as to why that is. I mean, look at these guys. I mean, Fox played a really nice game in this game. Nice plays by Smith there, just eating that hole. Oh yeah, yeah, Afghan. That's that's a funny comment. Yeah, we're gonna be making some Mark Holmes content as we get closer and closer. Might even make one to. We're gonna probably have a video out tonight as we gear up, start building up some content again, get ready for the back end of this season. Gino, when he gets a really nice pocket, he could be a good quarterback, man. I think Gino's biggest problem is when he doesn't have a good offensive line. And look, man, I'm going to say something that's very basic that any quarterback, he's not the type of quarterback that can just leave the pocket and just make these crazy. He wants to stay in the pocket and make those throws, right? But so when he gets a really nice offensive line play in front of him, like Mahomes, for example, he doesn't mind leaving the pocket. And there's, of course, Richie James again here. This was ball game when this happened. But Mahomes has no problem leaving the pocket and making plays, right? Gino, I don't think, wants to leave the pocket. So Daniel didn't have a very good game, and Richie James didn't have a very good game. I mean, let's just be honest. Gary, I'd love to have a sit-down conversation with Kenny Golladay, to be honest with you. I'd only need about 5 minutes. And this is just McLeod and Ward just not being. You can see Ward just kind of bites down on the quarterback here, or he just completely misses his coverage there. No, CV, I'm not saying Gino hasn't done that. I don't think he wants to do it though. I think he wants to be in the pocket. This is something the two fumbles and then this is something the Giants haven't been doing all year long. It's just missing tackles. Things like this just abnormal for this team. Tay Crowder again, what the hell are you doing? Xavier McKinney. If you told me Tay Crowder and Xavier McKinney's going to have a shot there, I would have bet everything that they make that tackle. So the fact that those two missed is incredible. And honestly, let me look back at who that was too. I mean, might need to check him on fantasy teams because again, Xavier McKinney don't miss tackles. Make a note for that when next time you're looking for fantasy pickups if he isn't already picked up. But anyways, to finish my point on Gino, I'm not saying he can't go outside the pocket. I just think he prefers to be in the pocket and make those throws. And when you give him a team or you give him an offensive line that gives him that ability, guys like Gino, the narrative on Gino before the year was started was that he wasn't a good quarterback, right? But if you remember, like when he played at West Virginia and in college, like this dude was tearing shit up, like potentially Heisman, like was great. But now but then he's had a rough pro career, right? But then if you think about the teams Gino's been on, he's been on some teams with bad offensive lines. And now he gets on a Seahawks team that's having some protection and he's getting a pocket to throw out of. He looks good. He's completing passes everywhere. So, I mean, look, he may be playing on borrowed time, but the reality is he very well could be a guy like Drew Brees who needed a new scenery, who needed a new team, who needed a better situation, and he might be a great quarterback. Jameson Winston tried to do that going from the Bucks to the Saints, and it just hasn't worked out. Just hasn't worked out real well. But you see quarterbacks. This is a nice play, and again, Hudson stepping up, filling in the Bellinger role. But you see quarterbacks leave teams and go elsewhere and become, good quarterbacks. It happens, so you can get one in free agency. You can get one through a trade. You can get one through a draft. It is possible. The Colts have tried to do it for the last year. They had a great situation where they went from Peyton Manning and then Andrew Luck fell in their lap, but they couldn't protect Andrew Luck. And they got him beat all to hell and got him busted up. And then they've tried to do this free agency route, and it hadn't worked out for them. And now they're a team that's now had to fire their coach. And, I just see so many people wanting to replace the quarterback all the time. There's a drop. Wanting to replace the quarterback all the time. And I look at all these other franchises and other teams, and I'm like, damn, I'm glad the Giants aren't in that situation, because the Colts situation is scary to me. Scary. And Mike Too Nice told me it was a great situation. But it's a scary situation to me because it's like, damn, they've got a good team. They got a championship. Think about that. They've got guys. They had how many Pro Bowlers on their team last year? Like 7? Like 7 Pro Bowlers. They couldn't make the playoffs. This year, they've got practically the same team, yet they can't figure out anything because they don't have the quarterback. And it's like, damn, like imagine having a team that could probably win a Super Bowl, a really talented, a great running back who's obviously been banged up, a pretty good, a lot of good defensive players, but you don't have that one player, that one quarterback. Really excited to see Wandale play in the second half. He obviously, this first half, majority of it, he was injured. So, I mean, he's the guy that in the second half, I think you could buy stock into in the Giants. Obviously, Daniel missed him on that one touchdown, but he's a guy that I think he could definitely see his game elevated. I don't know what Daniel's looking at for right here. I mean, those two guys are completely covered. And of course, Daniel gets sacked there, but what are we missing there? What are we missing on that play? We're missing Evan Neal, right? It's not an excuse, it's just reality. We're missing Evan Neal. Unfortunately, my boy Darius slipped out of the break right there. Slipped out of the break and then just completely missed up that timing. And you could see a lot of Daniel's throws in this game, the timing is just way off. I don't know what the hell he's looking at right here either. To me, I need to go back and watch this. I want to see this. I mean, maybe if we got a little bit more time on this. Let me see if he's got enough time. It looks like to me Wandale is going to go up and out, run a post. I just don't know, man. I don't know if he just doesn't think he's got enough time. Let me watch the line here a little bit more. Yeah, I mean, he's got time. It's a trust issue. It's got to be a trust issue. Has to be. That was obviously on a 4th down situation too, and he might have had Wandale in the back corner of the end zone. I don't know. They got to clean that up. Daniel did not have a good game in this game. No question about it. Did not have a good game. But again, this Seahawks team is a sneaky team. I think this Seahawks team is a team that you definitely need to keep your eye on as the season goes on. It's not to say they're going to win the rest of their games. It just means I think they're going to win the majority of their games. And it's so funny because, the Rams are kind of down. The Cardinals look like they're fucking imploding. I mean, they're arguing on the sidelines each and every week, which that was another situation. There's a nice play by Geno. And see, I don't think Geno really wants to do this, but he can do this. See, he wants to throw it right. See, he looks like he's got Metcalf right. I wonder why he didn't make that throw. He had it. But this maybe it's just a conservative play by him. He just wants to get the clock and keep the clock running because the Giants are calling timeouts right here to try to stay in this. But you look at the West, man, and the Seahawks could absolutely win that division. I know the 49ers have loaded up on talent, but Jimmy G can be sometimes suspect. And even if the 49ers do win the division, I think the Seahawks team is definitely a wild card team. Definitely a team that the Giants will be fighting for as far as a wild card positioning goes, and we'll probably be fighting with the Cowboys too, right? Maybe even the Eagles. And so, but you look at the other divisions, and that Bears team is when you think about wild card teams, because it looks like Vikings might win that division. And then the South is, there's these sneaky teams where it's like the Bucks aren't going, like the Bucks might win that division, but then have like a bad record. But then there's teams like the Falcons and the Bears and these just random teams that kind of like they're not there, but they're not necessarily going away, right? And so, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. The Seahawks team, we could absolutely see them again. We could see them absolutely see them again in the playoffs. I mean, there's the two games we've lost to Cowboys and Seahawks. I think I've said this already once. I'll say it again. They're two games that they're two probably playoff teams, and we could see them again. It's both teams. We could see either one of them again. And so there is, these there could be a possibility of a matchup again with these teams. And we haven't lost to a team this year that's going to the playoffs. So that's what gives me hope in the Texans and Lions games, because I don't think those teams, not a good though from Danny there. These are teams that I don't think are going to the playoffs this year, and the Giants have beaten those teams. See, this is a nice play by Daniel because things break down, but he's able to kind of find his safety net, right? He's able to find his emergency throw in this situation, and it still picks up yardage. I don't know, man. There's just watching this game again. Danny just seems like he was processing a lot. Absolutely drilled. Just looks like he's processing a lot, man. And maybe he needed a break too. Maybe he needed a break. Just definitely not a great game for him. And look, I've always been transparent about Daniel. When I thought that he needed credit, I've given him credit. When I thought that he needed some heat, I've given him heat. And this is one of them. But look, I mean, your quarterback's not always going to have a great game. Like you would expect him to break out of this sack right here. You would just the way you've seen him do it before. You would just kind of expect him to break out of this. It doesn't happen. At this point in the game, the Seahawks are just pinning their ears back and just coming after him and getting him. I believe that was the last play of the game too. Yeah, and so the Seahawks get that they get the win on us, and they take us out. And not a great game for the Giants, not a great game for Daniel. Defensively, some of the guys that kind of impressed me was like Fox, for example, Leonard Williams, Dexter Lawrence. And then, a couple of our guys, Xavier McKinney had that big missed tackle, and Dory gave up that big touchdown. And the Seahawks played really well. Like they played their game well, and they did good. So credit to them. They got the win. But the Giants, they got a great opportunity to kind of get back on that horse this week against the Texans and get a good win and get going again. So I've got some more content we're going to make this week. Hope you guys are excited about that. Hope you guys catch it. Appreciate you guys watching today and chatting with me. I always love coming on here and chatting a little Giants football. But got some good content coming out. I'm excited to make it. And then, but at the same time, appreciate you guys watching, chatting with me, and enjoying the Giants with me. It's always fun. It's always fun coming on here. These all-22s have been sneaky this year for me. I've really enjoyed doing them. I used to joke about them, make fun of content creators who took the time to do it, but I decided to do it this year just kind of as a joke. But it's been fun to do them and check them out and chat with the team with you guys. And it's been a fun year of making content, to be quite honest with you, this year. I've really enjoyed it. And I think that these last several games, it's gonna be fun. It's fun that the Giants are relevant, and we're gonna be playing games that actually mean something, right? So this Texans game's a great example where in the last few years we would just say, "Oh, it's just two bad teams. We just want to get a win, right? Just be good to win." But now it's like we need this Texans win. Like we need to get back on the winning side of things, right? Because we're in the winning business. And so it's going to be one of them things where it's like, even though we're playing potentially a bad team in Houston, the game means so much because we need to stack up our wins, right? We need to get to 10 wins. We need to get to 11 wins. It'd be great if we could get to 12. But if we get to 11, there's just no way we don't make the playoffs based on how other teams are doing the NFC. So it's really important that we get these wins because we don't know how we're going to stack up against the Cowboys or the Eagles again. Like we just don't know. So, but anyways, appreciate you guys. Thank you as always. And be looking out for more content this week, man. We're going to be putting it out. So we'll be seeing you boys.